Let's do it. Bring it on. Tribal Council 22.
So, all right, let's do this. Let's jump in and do some listener questions. And we've had heaps. I know we talked about making the video yesterday, and you posted the video, and we've had over like 100 questions from people. So we'll try and get through them as many as we can. They're terrific. We've got some really good ones. I'm going to ask one. This one's firstly from the Facebook group, and this is from Louise Johnson, and she has this. It's a real pressing question, Chris. This is a huge one that she needs to know, and she forces me to ask this one. So, KB, why doesn't anyone ever wear nail polish in Survivor? So why do you never wear nail polish?
That was the first question that I asked when I got out there.
See? Pressing.
Evan had a green toenail, and I remember going, why do you have a green toenail? And he's like, oh, my wife polished it on or something. So they do, but it comes off very quickly.
Yeah. I think the thing, you forget that you're there for 55 days, like general things that people would be doing.
How long do your nails stay on, Louise?
They don't. I don't know how long they last. Okay. So we got one from Ian. He asked, did you go in having a different potential strategies in mind that you didn't know what to expect from the other players? It looked to me that you adapted your game to those around you, and it sealed you the victory.
Yes. So I had like my key idea of stick on the right side of the boat, but my game was to be flexible and adaptable, and move where I needed to move, because the amount of times I've heard that out of Richard's Hatch's mouth, and other Survivor players, and including Sunday this season, she was like, I want to see a flexible and adaptable game. How were you to that? And that's what you need to be, and you'll get ridiculed for not being that almost. So yeah, totally. That was like the fundamental aspect of my game, and you saw it in when I moved over to the Vow, I became flexible. I moved that, and then when I went over to the Merge, I continued to try and keep my flexibility there, which debatable. I would recommend playing that way, but it worked for me, and it got me to the end and may have helped me win.
So this kind of leads into a question that we had on Instagram as well. It comes from Zoe Mamo, and she asks, how do you think you have impacted viewers and future players as to the idea that anyone can overcome adversity and win in a game like Survivor/Life?
Wow. The impact I've had is, I think that my game proves that Survivor is more than just physical. It is strategic, and you can still get to the end without winning physical challenges. Like, obviously I won the last one, but I didn't get to the end by winning physical challenges. And I think it's truly reflective in life, like Survivor is a close reflection on life. And the fact that I had a mental breakdown on national television and then had to live with that and show everyone how vulnerable I was, and continue fighting. Like, I think when you see somebody else fight with all their heart, it spurs you on to achieve your dreams. So I don't know if that answers the question.
No.
But
it's interesting. It kind of leads into this question that it was also on Instagram, and it's from LML Rose. She asks, was there ever a point in the game where you just wanted to give up?
No. I was never, ever, ever going to give up. It didn't even cross my mind. Like, I would have done a lot of things to stay there, but it didn't. It didn't cross my mind, babe. No.
It's one of those things.
There were times where I was like, I wish this would end, because like when it's raining and it's dribbling down your back and it's the middle of the night and you haven't slept or eaten and the fire goes out and you're huddling together and you're not getting warm and you're screaming your head off because you're in so much physical and mental pain. Like, like Kate, Connor, I think Sue, Phoebe, and myself, we had one night and we all just sat there crying and screaming because we were in so much pain. But none of us were ever going to walk away, which is very hard for the mind to comprehend. I couldn't comprehend it even when I was in that moment, because everything just tells you stop, but something else just tells you to keep fighting.
I think that's the thing. It's such an amazing experience, and we don't see often people quitting Survivor despite the elements. And I think it's that thing. This is a lifelong dream for many people, and just to go through that short-term physical pain, I think the long-term effects of quitting a game like Survivor would way outstrip that. So, yeah,
yes, definitely.
It's one of those things.
Definitely.
Trevor J94 from Instagram also asked, were there any of your moves that weren't shown on TV that you feel dramatically helped your game? So was there anything shown that you feel like maybe that wasn't shown that potentially helped your game? And that's hard because I guess as the winner, we talk about the winner's edit, Kristie, they're probably showing things that help, that were influential in helping your game more so than if you were like an Elle who didn't win. They didn't show everything she did or stuff that impacted her game because she didn't win. So I think there was definitely like I've done a bit of a rewatch of Australian Survivor, marathon rewatch, and like there are definitely moments in the game where it's like, why is Kristie being shown at this point? Like, you get it because they're trying to sell the narrative of your story along the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but that's one of those things that hindsight will show you many a thing. I'm sure there would be. I made a lot of moves that didn't get shown, like a lot of strategic moves that would have been great television and great to see. But the game moved so quickly that it then became irrelevant, So unfortunately, I can't. Nothing's burning in my head that I'm like, I desperately wish they showed this move.
Yeah. I guess even to that, was there like any moments in the show where you're like, I wish they had have shown more of this? Like you talked about you and Matt in the tree at the reward that you had. Did they film that at all, or was that?
Yeah, Matt and myself, we sat down and we had a conversation about his letter and stuff like that, and all those things. I think they showed most of that.
Yeah.
God, the game is so long. Let me think.
It is long, Kristie.
It's very, very long.
26 episodes.
Yes. I wish, like, the one that, like, I feel like, not that it would have helped me win the game or the last part of that question, but some scenes that I would have liked to have been shown was my strategic working of the networking between Flick, Matt, Lee, Elle, and myself.
Yeah.
And how I was working it instead of it being like Kristie's in the middle, now she's sitting there with Lee protecting her, like there was some good scenes there.
So this is one I think you maybe put an indicator on, and I saw this in the Facebook group, which was from Aiden. He asked, which players from your season would have done better if the game was only 39 days instead of 55 days. I think the extension of that as well is that you're probably playing a different game if you're playing a 39-day game and not a 55-day game. And I think that's where like a lot of the players in this season, especially the fans, they came into it with the US mindset that you have to really play hard straight away, where really it's a longer game. That strategy didn't seem to pay off for those people.
Yeah, exactly right. It's a longer game, so it takes a more amount of time to get there. And when you get backstabbed, it comes back at you a lot quicker. It doesn't just go away. But it's 2.5 weeks longer. Like, there's so much more time for errors and different things to happen. Like, put it this way, I would have played a completely different game if it was 39 days. I got the call. They said you're on Survivor, and it's 55 days. I wasn't going to turn around and go, no, I'm not doing it, 55 days. I had to be like, boom, okay, it's 55 days. I need to change my strategy. Like for the past 16 years, I've been playing for 39 days. Everyone would have played a different game. Different moves would have happened way earlier in the game. And like, for example, the one that I kind of look at a lot is the Phoebe and myself vote. Like, I would have made a move against Phoebe if the game was shorter. I wanted to keep Phoebe because I was thinking the merge, you know? So there's like one of those moments where the length of the game makes an impact.
And that's the thing where
I think everyone would have played differently.
Well, I think well, you say that, but I don't think everyone did play differently. I think that's the lesson from season 1.
Oh, really?
Well, do you think that everyone played differently? Because I feel there are some people who came.
No, I don't think everybody did play differently.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh no, you raise a very good point. I was very in my own head just then. Yeah, no. I think Matt would have played a bit differently because he would have been more actionable, I guess.
Yeah.
I think Phoebe would have played the same. Craig would have played the same. JL would have had the opportunity to go harder sooner. Nick played for season 38 of in the US.
Yeah.
Which I love. I love Nick. He's great. He's hilarious. And we're like, am I alone here in saying that I would have played a different game?
No.
Because I say it like all the time. Like if there was 39 days, I would have played a different game. Well, I would have played the same, but there would have been more moves. It would have been faster paced. There would have been it wouldn't have been such a slow burn.
Yeah. Or maybe it's just the realization that the game you played, maybe you, over some others, had the realization that the game is different to the US. I think definitely season 2, there's going to be a realization from players who go out there that you have to put yourself in positions differently to how people put themselves this season, unless casting find people who just don't believe that, and that makes good TV, obviously. So.
No, well, the thing with our season is they had the challenge of they were breaking into the Australian audience. So we're all super fans. We all watch it and on TV and stuff. But the majority that watch the primetime slot and are going to get into it have never seen it. They've got no idea what's going on. But then you've got the people who are super fans. So what our season is very unique because it's a mixture of old school and new school Survivor clashing together. And how does that work? Does it work? Does it impact the game? So you've got people like Lee, Sam, they're playing this game and they haven't even watched. They've watched like a season or two, and they want to do their mateship and loyalty and all of that, which is fine. You know, you play the game that you want to play. But when you have like a third of the cast that doesn't know the game, like season 33, and are playing the numbers and doing all this crazy stuff, and then you've got the mix with people who are playing really, really hard, then there's this like clash, and that person who's playing really hard can't play really hard with the person over here. Like Nick says all the time, he tried to make like a deal with Lee and Elle at Sanapu, and they were like, no, we want to be friends first, like, you know, like friends then strategy. And then 3 days later, it's like they're in an alliance over there, but Nick's like, if Lee wasn't cast, like, oh, not if Lee wasn't cast, say if Lee was a different person, maybe that wouldn't have happened, you know. But
yeah.
like that's why I like our season, because it's different, you know. You see what strategies work on different people and when, like for me, I was always appealing to Lee's emotions, you know. And Flick was about the numbers and making big moves, you know. And then like Brooke had like the fiercest social game I've ever seen. So, well, not ever seen, but like a very fierce social game. So it is really dependent on what type of personalities go together, what situations. Like this is why Survivor is so interesting, because there are so many little things, and it only takes one to change for it to be completely different.
So let's go a little bit lighter. Dylan Watkins asks, how did you manage to braid your hair on the island, and how long did it take?
I can start doing it now for you if you want. It took me about like 5 minutes each, I think. to do, and I'd do it just like going to a challenge or whatever, and I just got really used to it. I'd sit there and do exactly what I'm doing, and I'd just talk and stuff. But I practiced a lot before I went out there, you know?
Yeah.
And my hair was clean by the time I went out there.
I think.
Did you like my braids?
Oh well, I think
Is
everyone.
that what happened?
I think we were talking during the season about like you were having like Katniss Everdeen moments where.
Yeah.
My hair was braided.
Katniss Everdeen right now.
I
With
know.
my hair and dying out here, and nah.
The Soul Survivor. I've got another question here, and they're starting to get into a little bit. Look, we had a lot of questions about like you being in the US right now, which like people we didn't even say that at the start of the podcast. You're in Seattle at the moment.
Hey, Seattle.
And you went to the US season 33 finale. So this is going to cover off like a lot of the questions that people have got. But being in the US, going to the finale, like how was that whole experience and meeting? Like, I know you've been like hashtagging, is it like Oz Survivor meets US Survivor and stuff like that. So
yeah,
like how has that been meeting different survivors from a different country, and I guess how have they embraced you as someone who's coming from like a different country and being a survivor?
Oh, it's absolutely incredible. Like we all go through the exact same experience, which is what I've learned. And it's a survivor family. Like they all go to the finale. It's out of this world. They love to just be a part of it. Like once you are in the survivor family, you're in the survivor family, and you want to know what these people are up to and what they're doing and stuff. I am overwhelmed and blown away with how particularly season 33 have welcomed me, you know, like they were like, come over and watch the finale. Like they invited me over to go hang out with them and party in Vegas, like dream come true type of stuff. And to be able to talk about their game and their experience and compare it, like I am literally living the second half of my dream of an 8-year-old. So, and
it's pretty amazing. I know, like, I know you've been posting on Instagram and stuff that you've been doing, and I know, like, you before the finale, like, you were braids are done, and before the finale, you were like hang out with Figgy and stuff like that. So it's really cool that you've been able to form these relationships with people, and like in terms of the finale, like I know we didn't have an Australian Survivor finale, and Channel 10, we hope to have one next year. So season 1 players and season 2 players can be there, and it's going to be fantastic. But in terms of that experience and being there at a finale, like what was that like for you? And did you kind of feel like you got to live out your own experience a little bit being at a finale?
Oh, totally. I was living vicariously through those players who were up there, you know, and to walk into that room of the set and see the tribal council there and the huge buildings, and then the moment that Jeff Probst walked through, I was just I was fangirling. Like someone was saying, like Kristie's out there fangirling. I'm like, damn straight, I'm out there fangirling. Like, what else am I gonna do? It was out of this, like it's so cool. Everything's so real and big and awesome, and like the American characters, they're so big as well, and you just are like, it's real. You kind of like touch it and you're like, oh, this is real.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, then you remember, like, they're a normal person that's done something extraordinary as well. Like I thoroughly recommend, like, if anyone can go, like, to go and do it. Like,
yeah. And that's the thing, like, there's a finale twice a year, so if people are interested, there's always ways. Like, I know there's seat fillers and stuff like that people can do, but it's an amazing thing. And I guess, like, I know you went to the after party. I know, listening to RHAP, that you may have run into one Rob Sesternino, and he mentioned the meeting that you may have had with him and Wiggler and like those experiences. Yeah. So like, and we've spoken throughout, and I know you listen to our podcast and you're listening to Rob for part of the season as well. And like, it's hard when we we're giving an opinion based on something that we're not there and we're not experiencing it. But I think the thing with like Rob and what we do is that we try not to make it. It's not personal about the person. It's just about we're judging on what we're seeing as a TV product. But like meeting Rob as like a super fan as well, I'm sure that was really big, and I know that interaction was quite funny the way he related, and yeah.
Yeah, it was hilarious. It was a very funny encounter. Like, but you know what? I'm gonna take it in my stride. Like, at the end of the day, that's his opinion, and I've got my opinion, and whatever. It was funny. Like, it's weird to encounter these people and be like, wait a second, I know you, like, and then talk to them or whatever. But you know what? They're awesome. I saw Kim Spradlin. I just walked up to her and I said, hey, Kim, like, how are you, darling? I'm Kristie from Australian Survivor. And she was like, Australian Survivor? And she was like, oh, how'd you go? And I was like, oh, I won. And she was like, no way, babe, like, congratulations. And she gave me like a big hug and stuff, and like we went and sat down and had a chat. They're really friendly and nice, and it's really cool to talk to them about it, because you just connect with that, you know. And like, there's so many of them. I've met, like, I met Joe at, I met Kelly Wigglesworth, I met Sandra, I met Cherie, far out, Ozzy, Tyler, and then obviously the whole of the season 33 cast, Ty, just all these people together in the one spot at the one time, and to be able to go, hey, you know what it's like.
Exactly.
It's cool. It's
amazing.
cool. It's like,
and it's that
you feel very special.
Yeah, and like you said, it's like that fangirl moment. Like, you've played this game, you've won this game now, but you're still, at essence, you're still a fan of the show, and you're like, meeting these people is still exciting for you as well, and it's great to be able to have that opportunity now to live that out as well.
Yeah, exactly right. And personally, I love meeting extraordinary people, no matter what they do. Survivor just attracts that type of person and puts it on display for everyone. So any opportunity to meet somebody who's done something incredible is really cool. Like, who else did I meet? I met this guy, Mike, and he lost something like 150 kilos or something. And he was showing me photos of himself, and I was just like, you know what? You're an extraordinary person.
Wow.
Like,
hey, look, I got a question here. It's from Daniel Hirsch. He just asked, which Survivor player in history would you like to have worked with? So if you could pick any Survivor player that's maybe ever played the game that you could work with, who would be that person, and maybe why?
That I could work with. I'm not very good at alliances. There's so many. So many.
There's another question here from like Madium47 on Instagram, and she asks, "Do you have like a favorite US contestant or season that you really like, Kristie?"
Yeah, I've got a lot of favorites. I love Boston Rob. I think he's extraordinary. I really like Kim Spradlin. I like Adam. I like Dave from this season. I think Pavati's incredible to watch. Sandra, she's the queen.
Of course she is.
She's the best. She's the boss. Who else is there? Bob from Gabon.
Yep.
That was an incredible season. Danny's season.
Yep.
That was really cool with Stephanie in it. Man, I could talk about them all, but they're like some key ones that really stand out in my mind of players that I really liked and enjoyed like watching and really appreciate.
Yeah. We don't have too many questions left that we probably haven't covered in the podcast or anything, but like, this is a question from James Foster, and he just asks, did you have to quit your job before leaving? And like, what were you doing before you started playing Survivor?
Right. I didn't have to, but I did. So I was, I was going to move to Canada, and I didn't like my job anymore, and I didn't want to do it. I wanted to change, and I decided I was moving to Canada. And then I was getting through the Survivor process, so I was thinking, sweet, I'm almost on here. And I got to this point where I was like, I'm not going to stay at my job. I'm going to do something else. I'm either going to get on Survivor or I'm going to move to Canada. So I'm going to leave my job. So that's what I did. I quit my job a week before that week. And then a week later, I got the call saying I was on Survivor.
Wow.
A lot of Survivor players from our season did quit their jobs, but a lot of them didn't either. Like Matt's still doing his thing. Lee is, Elle is, Craig is. But a lot of us, like Phoebe, Flick, we all quit our jobs. JL quit her job. It's up to you, you know, like it's up to you.
Yeah, exactly. So you talked
Situational.
about like wanting to move to Canada. Is that still something that's on the horizon that you might do one day? Is move and leave Australia and go to Canada or America or somewhere like that?
One day. I love traveling and living overseas. Like that's one of the things I want to do in my life. I want to live overseas and experience that because I'm so curious about how different people live and different ways of doing stuff. So it's on the cards, but I don't think just yet. I think I'll be coming back to Australia. Yeah, but who knows? Who knows? Like I'm embracing the world at the moment.
Exactly. Just got a question here from Jordan Beck as well. I know you've been like a lifelong fan. Who was your first Survivor crush? Did you have someone who was your first Survivor crush?
Who was my crush? I can't say that because then if they find out,
well, I'll tell you mine. My first Survivor crush was Stephanie LaGrossa. I love Palau, and Stephanie. I just loved her at the time. But yeah, that's not going to happen. So anyway, moved on. Yeah.
I'm going to keep my crushes a secret.
Okay. So I guess like we've gone through a lot of these. There's so many questions, but I think we've covered so many in these questions and overlapping it in the podcast. So I've got a question for you now, Kristie. You've won Australian Survivor. You're the winner of the first season. The title of Survivor, I know how important that is to you and wearing that and owning that. But you also have like an amazing windfall. You have $500,000. Like, what are your plans with that? I know you're on a trip now, but do you have any plans with it, or is it just going to invest, or do you have any plans with that?
It's a mixture of things. Like, I want to invest and I want to set myself up so I can achieve and do the different stuff that I want to do because I have a unique opportunity to set myself up. Not for life, but like set myself up pretty good, you know.
It's a very good start.
Probably invest in something, but also probably start a business of my own. Like at the moment, not that it's a business, but I'm going to start doing like a little bit of travel exploration, writing. So that's going to be called Free Thinking Travel. So check that out. I will post about that once I have it all finalized and stuff. At the moment, I'm just using the hashtag Free Thinking Travel. And then just enjoying being able to do things that I would want to do without the stress of it, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
To me, money has never been a thing for me. I would be doing what I am doing right now, traveling around the US if I'd won or if I didn't win, with
Kristie,
the money or without it.
We should tell people you are not staying in a 5-star hotel right now. Like you are in Seattle. If I let it break this down, you are actually.
You want to see my house?
Yeah, show them. So for those people,
this is where I'm staying. I'm actually staying at a hostel. So this whole time I've been sitting on my bunk bed. This is my bunk room. And this is the bed. So this is where I'm staying. I'm not even staying at a hotel or anything like that. I'm paying I think $30 a night and I'm loving it.
So for the future players of Australian Survivor, if you win the game, gosh, it's a life of luxury after you win, Kristie.
It is. The high life. all of the good things.
Look, Kristie, I just want to say thank you so much for coming and chatting today. I know this is something we've tried to nut down a couple of times. It's great. It's just before Christmas. I know how important like it is for you to share your story as well. I know there's going to be a lot of people who are interested in seeing this and hearing this, and like I know I really appreciate you taking the time to come and like really break down your game. And yeah, I think that we have seen over like the course of this year and an amazing thing. We've seen Australian Survivor come back. We've seen the formation of what we're hoping is going to be a long-lasting thing. I need it to be because I need something to talk about. So I'm hoping that it keeps going on. So
I'll join you there.
Season 2, we need some good players. And Kristie, you have an open invite to come chat whenever you want to. And I've loved having you on and loved chatting to you through the season. And yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat today.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Ryan. I'm so sorry that it has taken me so long to get here, but I was like, this week it's gonna happen. Like,
it's a Christmas miracle.
So bad when I had to
it's my Christmas present. Thank you, Kristie.
This is your Christmas present. It's for you. But like, I'd like to say something too. Like, you guys are amazing. Like writing all this stuff and being so enthusiastic about the game, taking the time to talk to all of us and listen to what we've all got to say, because that's big for us. Like, we want to tell people our side and what we want to say, and you take the time to let us to do that. And like, to all the fans out there who watch and like are invested in it, like, we can't have these experiences without you. And that's amazing that you guys support us and that you feel like you can relate to us and that we can make a difference to you. And I would love it if you guys like came on the journey with me, because you know what, like, you're a part of like the Survivor family too. Like, so yeah, definitely like follow me or whatever if you can.
And make sure you are doing that.
Like, I want to show you what I'm doing afterwards and what you could do with your life after you feel like you've hit an achievement, or if you haven't hit an achievement.
There are so many people on the cast now who they're involved in like charities, or they're living their lives, and they're, for a lot of people, they were inspirations on the season. You're definitely a huge one for a lot of people, as we've talked about. So make sure that you are following Kristie on Instagram. I know there's slightly different handles in each. So what's your Instagram handle, Kristie?
No, Instagram, it's at Kristie Bennett, and same on Twitter. So
great.
KristieBennett.
And make sure you are following her on all those platforms. And yeah, I know you are verified on those accounts now. I think some other people are waiting for their blue ticks. So Twitter, Instagram, I think you've got the blue tick.
Indeed, I am verified.
So make sure you are following Kristie. And yeah, it's been...
But yeah, it's been... Thank you so much. Like, seriously, Ryan, like, you have been amazing. Like, and chatting to you throughout the season was like awesome as well, because like it's always nice to talk about Survivor with somebody who is passionate about it, and you always were, and so thank you.
That's okay.
Really,
and it's and it's been great chatting. And like, I think because we've been doing these podcasts and people have been messaging me saying like, Ryan, why do you not have Kristie on? Did you bag her too much on the podcast? I'm like, no, actually, Kristie and I get on very well, to be honest. It's just been timing.
Yeah. Oh, it's got nothing to do with Ryan at all. It was me being I had a whole bunch of different stuff going on, and like the finale happened, and then I won, and then I went somewhere, and it's my birthday, and then now it's Christmas and all this kind of stuff. So I've been trying to do it, but we've all been just like talking on the side and then being like, yeah, let's do this thing. And what we wanted to do was we wanted to make it a video this time as well. So I couldn't just take the call at any time. And so Ryan did a really good job in like setting it all up so we could actually have like a face-to-face video, because I thought it was really important for you guys to like be able to see people talking as well.
Exactly. And that's going to be really fantastic. And we'll post that probably post the parts of it for probably the questions first, and then I'll try and get the whole video done as well. But yeah, it's going to be fantastic. And again, Kristie, thank you so much. I know it's not the last time we'll talk to you on here. Season 2 next year, we'll definitely chat. And yeah, thank you so much.
Yay!
Enjoy the rest of your trip.
Yeah.
Enjoy Christmas, New Year's in America. Envious. Like I told you, I will be at the cricket, so not quite as fun, but it'll still be good.
What are you talking about? Cricket's good.
Cricket's amazing.
He'll tell you all about it.
I know. Gotta get Lee. He's gonna show me how
my
to bat and bowl. And well, he's a batter, so he'll show me how to
Yeah.
bat. Yeah. All right. Until next time, guys.
Awesome.
The community has spoken. See you later. Bye.